What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord, links down below in the description box. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, we do have some shout-outs to give. Right, some pre-stream love from Skeptical Fan. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. And, of course, we're here live with you guys because the Cowboys have once again been busy. Wow. Just saying. That, we're seeing the Cowboys still continuing to do some things. We got a clearer picture of what's ahead. Can't wait to discuss it here with you guys.
Yeah, guys. So we're going to go through it all here. A little shorter than the last time or the last couple of times, but nonetheless, still rocking it here. And let's start. Before we get to the draft, which is around the corner, before we get to the free agent updates and some contract talk here, let's get to the people repping this thing, and that is J.D. Burton. Shout out to him.
JD.
This could be the last. If this is the last show of March, this is the quarter, right? So technically, this could be the last chance to take over the top spot and be the sponsor of the quarter. Yes, you see him right there, J.D. Burton at the bottom of the screen. Always going to stay on that screen and on that ticker. Shout out to J.D. Burton, an old school OG here.
OG.
Yes. So shout outs to him. And then you can see Skeptical Fan, the man. You see the different 4 ways of dropping the love. That's the After Dark style, the Cash App King. Shout out to Skeptical Fan, who is also the leader currently. He did have a drop since our last stream. I think it was actually, no, he did not have a drop last stream, but he is still leading in the Cash App side of things. And a gifting champion right above there, NDN Boogie. All he needed was one. He took over the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to him. There is no leader right now currently at the gifting side. And then Mark Hosepian, all the way from Hawaii, 62 points on the stream boss. Shout outs to Mr. Hawaii over there repping that star.
A big mahalo
Yeah.
for Mark Hosepian.
62 points. 2 points lower because Skeptical Fan pre-streamed it. Gave a $2 holler. What did he have to say?
Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. Shout outs to him and shout outs to everybody in the house here with us, everybody on all the different levels of membership. And we're talking about, since we do these like once a week or two, so we give the shout outs not just to the star level, but to the silver level as well. And of course, always the over everything level. So shout outs to all the silver level members, David Lara, Justin the Q-Man Quarrels, Dwayne Broussard, the Top Dog Bay Bullies, and the man with 68 months on the membership, the more than anybody else here, Mr. A. Lavelle. Shout outs to you guys. And of course, top shelf star level members, John Luna and Aussie. Thank you guys. We'll see if anybody gets into that. We also have the over everything level. So that's something to always, of course, keep in mind.
That's right.
But hey, as we get rolling here tonight, we got some other things to kind of just say real quick before we get going with the stream. Shout outs to the people in the chat. There's different ways of dropping the love here on the channel. But I do want to say, since there's different ways, the leader currently is Mark Hosepian on the overall board. So just something to keep in mind. And everybody is kind of in a bunch at the top of the board right now. Now, shout outs to those who drop the love through the super chats. There, little $sign next to the bottom of your chat. So that's an option there through the YouTube way. There's also a thanks button, which you just let me know. We'll see it. And we can give you, and that could be even when we're offline, you can drop a thanks, and that counts towards the leaderboard, et cetera, et cetera. There's also, of course, jumping and joining into the membership or rejoining in the membership, like Alanda Hanslu, who's back in that navy blue crew. And, of course, Dwayne Broussard, like I said, Top Dog Bay Bullies in the silver level. So shout outs to both of you guys since our last stream. Examples of membership. And, of course, if you're in the membership, or you can then gift memberships as well. So that's always a positive as well. Helps out the channel. Helps out somebody here randomly. And shout outs to J.D. Burton, part of that star level membership. He's back. He's back in the top spot there and immediately hits one of the goals for today. Let's just put it that way.
That's right.
So, he didn't say anything. It's just he's back in that star.
Well, I guess if he could, he'd say don't call it a comeback.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, J.D. Burton. Appreciate you. Make sure to drop him now that you've got him again.
Yeah. And we will be, expanding them as we get to the draft and to the preseason, regular season, etc. Hopefully, playoff Super Bowl, right? J.D. Burton, much love, and he jumps up. I think he may be in the lead now in first place if I check it. I don't have that info in front of me right now. But yes, shout out to J.D. Burton, who's in the membership. And on top of that, it's one of the goals on there. And also on top of that, which gets us closer to that. I'll explain that in a minute. But also takes Mark to 61 points.
That's right.
And I shout out the other star level member, by the way, is JD Burton now. We got 3 in there. So shout outs to him. We also have the over everything level as well. But that's once you're in the membership, you can also gift membership. There's also 4 other ways, which we call the After Dark way. If you know MCF After Dark, there's 4 ways of dropping the love there, which is outside of the YouTube world, baby. Why don't you go through that real quick?
Of course, we have the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, and both PayPal links. Of course, the MyCowboysFamily at gmail.com or the PayPal.me/MCF2017.
That's right. So shout outs there to anybody who uses any of these ways. And Skeptical Fan, who's the king and the leader right now for this quarter, shout outs to him as well. So as we move on, I just do want to say that the goal, even though it says probably 20 what is it, 0 out of 20, we count that as at least 1 out of 20 there for JD Burton for getting in the membership. And so that's, we got one, we're keeping that in mind. We know that's available there. And I want to make sure everyone knows that if we do hit the goal, which is 20, I think 20 of $5 or higher, if we hit that goal tonight in this stream, everybody who's in it. Well, I'm sorry, 4 people that are in it. 4 people get basically picked to get into this quarterly jersey raffle, which of course you see the star level members now. JD Burton gets a raffle entry. Over Everything gets 2 raffle entries, and then the sponsor of the quarter also gets a raffle entry, which would be a bonus entry there. So shout outs to everybody who was in that and able to get that. We also had, I think, one time this quarter we hit the goal at least once or twice. So that means that when we hit the goal, we're going to pull names out of that. Now, we also hit the goal once because someone gave a Luna drop, as we call it. And that's when someone drops like the whole thing. And if that happens, then everybody who's in it that drops 5 or higher is automatically in the raffle. That's where it's automatic. Into this big raffle, not the side raffle, not the pre-raffle. So to get into the pre-raffle, though, hit the goal. Anybody who's in there, you can have your name in there 10 times. You got a good chance of being one of the 4 names picked and to getting into this quarterly jersey raffle, which there's very minimal names, a high chance to win. And it's, again, not just Cowboys. I know, of course, we hope it's Cowboys, but it's any sport, any team, any player, any number, any name in the back, and any style that's available, any size. There you go. You can't really explain it. Anything you want, basically, that we have available is pretty much anything so you can get with the win. So shout outs to anybody, to all the winners of the past and the winners of the upcoming raffle here. If we hit that goal, more people can enter the raffle. We'll see what happens. Maybe. Now it's time for the shout outs in the chat. Let's hear it. Who's in the house?
Of course.
JD Burton's in the house.
Of course.
Skeptical
JD Burton,
fan.
the man himself. Skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical. We have Aztec Aguilar 04 returning all the way from Mexico City.
Yeah.
So, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's up?
DB.
Happy Saturday to you.
Another DB in the house. Oh, yeah.
Rolling back a little bit here. Jet Li, the man himself. Retro Scotty representing.
Retro.
We got Car Batty, the number 1 mod in the house. What's up? Of course, as more people roll in, I'll make sure to give them a little shout out, hello, and hi there.
For sure.
We have some Cowboy news, Cowboy adjacent news,
Yeah, and now we're getting closer and closer to draft time, right?
In the chat, 33 days till draft. So
almost there, right?
What's
a month
up,
away.
Savage? Salute to you.
Yeah.
Some man JD Burton dropping those. Yeah, I love the chicken chicken emojis. Obviously, it's more like a turkey emoji.
They're cooked.
But
so
that's my other favorite.
Now I'm gonna drop the would you drop the clown show? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck Philly, hell yeah.
Right, I had to refrain from the clown show emoji for now, just because
Are we doing enough? Are we?
I'm going to hold back for now. That's all I'm saying.
Let's discuss what's going on.
What's up, JD from DC?
Hey, JD
Shout out
back
to
in
you,
the house.
and you guys let us
From
know.
enemy territory.
Yeah, let us know. Have the moves that the Cowboys made so far are you dropping that clown emoji in the chat or not?
I'd still drop it. But it's maybe not as bad as other times.
Okay.
The thing is this. Look, let's start off with dollars and cents, and that is the 2026 salary cap adjustments for every NFL team has been announced like last week. And it gave the Cowboys an extra $8 million on the cap. Boom, right in your lap. Basically, it's the incentives that were not hit from any of the players for the Cowboys. They do count that.
Okay.
they count that on your salary. So any guys that have incentives now, they got to hit the cap on that right now. But if they don't hit the incentives, we get that returned next year. So all these incentives, we got $8 million of lost or not hit incentives to use in this year's salary cap. So that's been added to there. Again, big cap increases for guys like for teams like the Tennessee Titans, the Niners, Browns, Cardinals, and other teams like Buffalo, Seattle, Carolina, and the Giants took steps backwards. But the Cowboys were basically, I think 24 million was number one with Tennessee, San Francisco at 20, Cleveland at 17, Arizona at 14, the Jets at $9 million, and then the Cowboys at $8 million in returned incentive money, basically. And by the way, shout out to JD for DC. We got 2 hits on the goal board. We need 18 hits to go. But JD from DZ drops the navy blue back in that crew. Shout outs to you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You said I was already a member. Whoops.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah, it drops in and out sometimes.
yeah,
You know?
all good, guys. Again, honestly, YouTube has had their funky moments. So, I'm just glad they fixed that weird notification issue because I remember there was like 2, 3 weeks there where like no one was getting notifications and you had to like go hunting streams down. Like it wasn't just an us thing, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
everybody had that issue. So, but big shout outs to you, JD. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you back here repping that star. And he's not only just repping that star, he's repping that star in enemy territory. Hell yeah. So that's even a bigger deal. So, anyways, as we continue this thing, man, we got $8 million. Well, guess what? I think we got a couple more now because Logan Wilson, the guy we traded, I think, a 6th-rounder for from the Bengals last year, midseason, right before the trade deadline.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically played what, like 50 snaps? I mean, he retired. So he's not even an option if we wanted to keep him, which we were not going to keep him anyways. But he retired. He announced his retirement after 1 year with the Cowboys. I guess we also forced guys to retire. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, as I say guys, I mean mainly Everfluss. I mean, the guy said he was going to start the game, and he basically benched him till the 4th quarter. He didn't realize that he had not started. I mean, I'd want to retire too, I guess. Logan Wilson officially hanging up the cleats.
Say maybe that has more to do with the caliber of guys that Dallas typically brings in, the type of guys who are on the verge of retirement. Although obviously I don't think Wilson was expected to retire anytime soon.
No, I mean, he had a little bit of an issue with the knee, but the thing is that he was ready to go. The Cowboys didn't use them. Like, I don't know if he was not. Maybe he's just not having it anymore. The Cowboys got fleeced. Either way,
or between the shitty lack of play, no real interest, and we're not bringing him back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
so I'll retire while he's still healthy.
I mean, maybe he's just not ready to go through a whole offseason training camp just for what, $2 million. I guess he maybe did go to his money. I don't know. The point is, Logan Wilson, he's known as quote the Cowboy through his career, announced his retirement. But again, through the Bengals mainly, and gave them thanks and all that stuff on Instagram. He did retire, and that was Wednesday. He did that, so keep that in mind. It was pretty recent. But we did, like I said, we did trade for him at the NFL trade deadline last year, but almost his entire career is with the Bengals, so that's why he's giving them the shout outs, and that's who we mostly thanked. Now, other Cowboy players. You guys remember Luke Gifford, our 5th-string linebacker, 6th-string linebacker, basically our special teams guy, and sometimes our practice squad guy. Either way, he's been with the Niners, and he's good enough that they are re-signing him, guys. And he's a Pro Bowler, by the way. Not as a linebacker, as a special teams player. Pro Bowl special teams player. Luke Gifford signed a 2-year, $5.3 million deal with the Niners. So they are re-signing him. Another former Cowboy, Simi Fehoko. He was with the Cardinals last year. I think he got banged up. But they re-signed Simi Fehoko, the Cardinals did, to a 1-year contract. He did originally sign with the Cardinals as a free agent last March in 2025. He had a 1-year deal. But he basically played only special teams, appeared in 8 games, suffered a broken arm, that's what it was, in November of 2025, which put him on injured reserve, and he was out for the rest of the year. The Cardinals want to give him a chance. Luke Gifford getting a solid chance now as a Pro Bowler, special teams Pro Bowler in San Francisco. Of course, it would have been nice to have that player on our team. A player we don't have on our team anymore, his name is Jalen Tolbert. So that means the number 1 becomes available again. Our first number 1 has moved on to another team. We knew it, though. We weren't going to re-sign him. Jalen Tolbert signed with the Miami Dolphins on a 1-year contract. Tolbert, who is close with Malik Willis, again, that was his quarterback at the Senior Bowl when they were entering the NFL. He's a versatile. Of course, we know Jalen Tolbert could be a versatile receiver at times. Um, what did he have? Like, did he have I think over the 4 years he had over 1,000 yards for the Cowboys, 10 touchdowns in the 4 years he was with us for a little over 1,000 yards. Nothing great, but he's looking for a better situation where you get more targets. I think Ryan Flournoy, number 19, kind of pushed him 100% off the team. I think last year when Flournoy kind of didn't miss anything, and Tolbert was getting 2 looks a game and dropping one of them. Flournoy didn't miss any of his opportunities and got us down the field. So I think Flournoy passed him on the depth chart, made him expendable. So yeah, but Tolbert looking for a new spot. Ryan Flournoy kind of taking his snaps, and Tolbert's going to have a chance in Miami. So wish him good luck there. Wanye Thomas, formerly number 2 with the Cowboys. We also have number 2 now open. But now the Colts are officially signing Wanye Thomas, a backup safety there. So he played in 36 games with the Cowboys, recording 62 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. Of course, remember, he also was a special teams guy as well, mainly for us, although he did have to play some starts at safety. Now, it's also a 1-year deal, in case you were wondering. All these guys getting 1-year deals. 1-year deal for Wanye Thomas with the Colts. It's more of a prove-it kind of deal for the hungry young safety. I think he's decent. I think he's good. But, they were willing to pay him more than what we wanted to give him. And Thomas comes from the Cowboys, of course. Played. He started 3 games in 2025 for the Cowboys, but he only played in 7 due to migraines. He had the migraine issue last year. But of course, the main thing you want him for to come in right away is special teams, which what he's able to do for the Colts. So the Colts, special teams, yes, they got a backup safety, yes, who has migraines and might miss some games. But anyways, when you look at our last season's like best players that were kind of, I would say our best unexpected players. Certain players always receive every year at the end of the year or the beginning of the new league year, they receive a performance-based pay increase, like a bonus almost for their performance in the previous season. So when it looks at the NFL players, they're in total in the whole league, they're getting $542 million. So basically half $500 million are given to players because of performance and based pay. So the performance-based pay is a collective CBA benefit that compensates all players based upon their playing time and their salary levels. So if you are a guy who's getting nothing, I mean, you play the whole season starting, you're gonna get a shitload of money from this, right? I can list you the list. I don't care about the list. I care about our list. Cowboys had 24 players receive more than $300,000 through the league's performance-based pay system. Our top 10 highest guys, who do you think was our number 1 guy? Kamar James, a rookie, getting rookie pay, 6th-round pay, or 4th-round pay. $764,000 is what he made.
Holy crap.
Cooper Beebe, center, $728,000. Reddy Stewart, who we did tag and he signed his tag, $686,000. Brock Hoffman, who's now seems to be with the Steelers, $646,000 what he earned extra there. Ryan Flournoy, like I just talked about, $645,000. Brevin Spanford, who's going to right now our backup tight end, basically I'd say third string with Schoonmaker, but he's right there with them. $616,000. James Houston picked him up as our pass rusher, played some games. $558,000 for him being one of our leading pass rusher, I guess you could say. Marist Liufau, all right, 3rd rounder. Based on playing time and salary, he got $539,000, $500,000. He got Luke Schoonmaker got $530,000, and TJ Bass, $499,000. By the way, I could keep going with the list, but I'll give you the last guy on the list, Isaiah Land. Isaiah Land played 3 defensive snaps, and he earned an extra $11,425.58. Just so you guys know, and I want to stay with that because one of those names got $499,000, got $500,000 because of his pay and his playing time, which was above and beyond, is TJ Bass. And TJ Bass, number 66, he was tendered by the Cowboys. He officially signed the tender, just like Brandon Aubrey did. You know what I'm saying? Just like Reddy Stewart also did as well at the same time as he did. Reddy Stewart signed his restricted free agent tender, and TJ Bass also signed his 2nd round tender. for $5.7 million. No one offered him that much. Cowboys gave him the tender amount, which is 5.7 million. It's a deal for a good, backup who has starting experience, right? Now, the Cowboys can still trade him. Remember that. Some teams are asking for him. Will the Cowboys give him away like we let Brock Hoffman go? We're going to get something back. Possible to trade him, but he is a Cowboy right now. Offers stability on the interior offensive line. I'm talking about center and guards, both sides, and would be a starter if the Cowboys change plans with left tackle and move Tyler Guyton over to right side. Tyler Smith goes to left tackle. We got TJ Bass can play left guard. So he provides a lot of abilities for the Cowboys for $5.5 million or so.
I think he's right in that weird little sweet spot where it makes a lot of sense to keep him. But you're right. I don't think I can necessarily rule him out as a bargaining chip, depending on what the offer is or what the deal is or what the draft looks like or the situation. Like, I could easily see him being part of, a
Rotationally
nice
starting in
little
there.
trade, depending on.
Oh, you want to trade him? Okay, I see. All right.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like that's kind of where my mind goes to, as far as
I'm
like
trying to think what we
dealing
would
with
get
him.
for him, though. See, to me, I think we get something
I'm
like
saying
a
like
fifth or
it's
sixth
kind of
rounder.
a deal.
Maybe,
Like
maybe.
that's again, that's what I'm saying. Like it would be him plus picks for another player plus
That could be
picks.
possible.
Like that's how I see that. That's why I said like I'm not saying it would happen. I'm just saying that I can't rule it out.
Now, I would say that's why I mentioned there was a possible trade options, but I think it'd be smarter. In my opinion, would be I'd hope the Cowboys would keep him in the sense of the fact that we gave away we let Brock Hoffman go. Like if we had Brock Hoffman, I'd say all right. The Cowboys, I think, went with the guy that they tendered the guy that they wanted to keep, not trade. And then they tendered the guy they wanted to keep as the backup or possible starter, and that would be Bass over Brock Hoffman because Bass has started at left guard, and if that move is needed with Tyler Smith bouncing to the outside, you got a kind of guy who started already at left guard, even if not the best. He did well. He did do well. So my point is, it's a logical path for the Cowboys to keep him over Brock Hoffman. And because we don't have Brock Hoffman, I think it's a bigger trade for the Cowboys to just give him away at this cheap of a price.
I think the Terrence Steele moves that we've already done with the restructuring of the contract adds to that. Just feels like you said, we opened up so many options there, and we were already discussing maybe moving on from him in some ways. Like, hey,
if that happens. Well, we're not moving on from him.
I'm saying like we had discussed that before they restructured him. Like we had already been discussing like potentially moving on. They ended up restructuring him to make him staying much more favorable.
Right.
That still doesn't mean they're like 100% set on him being.
The thing is, by him taking a pay cut, it makes Terrence Steele could be a backup swing tackle type of guy. You can have Guyton take over the right tackle spot. Just an option. I'm not saying it's happening, but it could be an option where Guyton takes over the right tackle spot. And instead of the left tackle spot, which he's not doing too well in, you could either draft a guy, get a guy, or kick out Tyler Smith to left tackle, and then Bass can then slide in there at left guard. And this could be in a pinch. This could be in a need. This could be a goal for the Cowboys to go through. For the year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I agree, Mike. It definitely depends on what your priorities are. That's why I said that, can't rule them out completely.
Yeah. So I think that's always an option. But TJ Bass, I think the Cowboys picked Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, who's going to be the interior backup, and it's at center guard. And that's TJ Bass because he has starting abilities at guard. And he's also got starting abilities. I think he's not starting, but he's been our third string center. Mm-hmm. He's been center snapping for a while. So I think that that's the reason the Cowboys are keeping him. But I'll tell you one guy the Cowboys are definitely getting in here in town, and that is Kobe Durant. He's going to be wearing that star in his helmet. Will he wear number 7? That's available. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the Cowboys, and I said this on our last stream, I know maybe you missed it, but while we were streaming, Kobe Durant was signed by the Cowboys. And I want to make sure that we go through a couple of things. I really have all the info, but I got a little more info. I'm going to fly through it real quick here. We signed cornerback Kobe with a C, not a K. Cobie. Kobe Durant. Cornerback. Outside cornerback to a 1-year deal. He's 28 years old. All right. He started 29 games over the last 2 years. So he's a starting cornerback. As an outside cornerback, he's credited to 26 pass breakups in his 4 years. And entering this year at the age of 28, right? 2025, his height, 5'11", not the biggest guy. He's only 180 pounds, not the biggest guy. He's set out as the outside alignment, the outside wide alignment coverage corner guy 72.1% of the time. In the slot, only 16.3%. So he's not a slot guy. He's an outside guy. His playtime in with the Rams, starting or not starting, he's in a starter basically. 73% of the time he's on that field. So the Cowboys now, with Kobe Durant, improved immediately at corner. All right. I got to say, with Bland and Durant, you know what I'm saying? We're still throwing guys like Siobhan Ravel, other guys that are still kind of unproven, Reddy Stewart, and these are not necessarily starters, but we got another starter in Durant. That's an improvement right there. So, and that also gives us, whether we have it set or not, it gives us an opportunity to use Deron Bland as an outside guy or in the slot where he's actually better. So the Durant signing adds to the ability to get Deron Bland into the slot where he's the best at. So when you look at the Cowboys right now, cornerbacks, Deron Bland, Kobe Durant, and then Siobhan Ravel. When you look at these three guys, if there are starters, Deron Bland is the slot guy. Okay? And I think that actually improves the slot coverage there for our defensive coverage side of things. Safeties, right now. You're looking at Jalen Thompson, who we just picked up from the Cardinals. Malik Hooker, who's the starter, of course, as a free safety. And PJ Locke, who we'll talk about in a minute, who is the backup, but he was a critical piece of the Denver rotation at safety. He will be that for us.
Okay.
I'm saying we signed him in the free agency period here. So again, those are our top 6 guys, 3 at corner, 3 at safety. First questions, can Deron Bland be back healthy? If he can, it's still a huge if. If he can be back healthy to himself, he could play slot and be efficient. And at cornerback, has Ravel mature enough to kind of learn Christian Parker's defensive changes in his scheme? Ravel's going to be an outside defensive player. So we got Kobe Durant, we got Ravel on the outside, and that puts...
I think a different way of phrasing it, too, is more that it seems like the Cowboys are betting on him, continuing to develop and to mature, and to be able to hang with Parker's defense. So, will he be able to rise to the occasion? Will he be able to meet those expectations? Or is he going to fall short? Because the whole point is that he's not there yet.
Well, that's the thing.
We're acknowledging that.
Right. You have Deron Bland, who can play inside or outside. Durant's outside. Yeah. So that leaves Siobhan Ravel. It leaves Kalen Carson. It leaves Reddy Stewart, Queasy Bridges, and Josh Butler. All guys that could probably do something in there, but nobody who can do it all. Like you can say, I feel comfortable every game with him. No. So we still kind of missing a guy there, in my opinion. Even with Siobhan Ravel, we still need to see him be able to play a full season, and we're not seeing that. So Kobe Durant, solid cornerback, starter, sets a nice floor for Dallas at cornerback. He does his best work from squat or off coverage. He, again, a top-down kind of guy on short to intermediate passes. He's pretty solid on that. On a 2-to-1 reads or against bunch formations, he usually is a little slower to kind of relate the vertical receivers when crossing. So he processes the route distribution a little bit slower than you'd like to see. He doesn't break in there if there's somebody crossing in a bunch formation. So again, he's also got the lack of size situation. Again, 5'11", 180. He gets pushed around, with a physical receiver off the line of scrimmage. So you don't want him at man coverage. You want him a little bit more in a zone or off man coverage. But he's feisty. He's physical at the catch point. Breaks up. Has a lot of pass breakups. He has good ball skills. Understands his responsibilities in a defensive scheme. So he will take to Christian Parker's defense without an issue there and his scheme there. He's much better at zone, like I said. At zone, he's not so quick at processing skills and physical receivers, but when he's in a zone situation, he can get a second to read the defense. He is really good with processing zone defense. It checks out with Christian Parker. He's a Christian Parker kind of deal. It's a guy he wants for his defense. Seeing this offseason that football IQ is the priority in this defensive reshuffling. So, again, some things are changing, some duties are changing, but Christian Parker likes Kobe Durant's versatility to be able to understand what he wants to do, specifically in zone coverage. Yeah. So the signing is a signal that also helps kind of maybe get a new type of cornerback. We used to get bigger physical corners. This is a quicker, smaller guy. We had, D'Angelo Pons, okay? 72-inch wingspan. Is he a guy that's going to be, he's the guy the Cowboys will look at, right? Like D'Angelo Ponds in the draft with a 72-inch wingspan again. But he's also one of the smarter cover players in the class. So you got one guy who's small, you could maybe go for a guy who's big. Then on the other side, we'll see what happens. But Kobe Durant, he's not a superstar, but he improves the Cowboy cornerback crew and also is a baseline starter. He should be like the worst of our two outside guys if Bland's playing a slot. So assuming Bland, and again, it is a big assumption, but we got to hope that he's back to where he's able to do his most damage at. By the way, we got ourselves a drop in the house. What is that there? A $10.01 no holler. Taking Mr. Marco Seppian to 50 points. Mr. Skeptical fan, much love to you. What did the man say?
Thank you, Skeptical. He said, when do you think the Cowboys are getting a veteran linebacker or a rookie that can play day one?
Oh, man, perfect timing.
Go Cowboys.
Perfect
so, yeah,
timing.
and it's funny because, again, it was one of the reasons I didn't want to answer your question a little too soon, Skeptical fan, because I know Mr. MCF actually has something about that. That was actually the biggest topic of ours pre-stream.
Yeah, we actually have a discussion.
Kind of just talking about the latest Cowboy stuff going on, but yeah,
the
Cowboys still have a pretty gaping hole there as far as a linebacker, and not just at any spot at linebacker. And I'll kind of let you talk from there.
Because of Christian Parker's defense, there's outside linebackers, inside linebackers. So outside linebackers, not so bad.
Shazier and Brooks.
Yeah, oh yeah, we got you, bro. We got you.
Stick around, Mike. We got you. Thank you, Skeptical fan.
Just to finish up, and Skeptical fan, I got you. I promise. Stay tuned. It's coming up, and it's coming up quick. Because it's not really not. I know the Cowboys been busy, but more with contractual stuff. Not really picking up players. Kobe Durant, we already picked up. I'm just kind of doing a quick review, but I just want to say that he's a good fit for the Cowboys as an outside cornerback. Not a good fit for the slot, which means, like I said, that means that we want Durant playing slot, which is good. Worst case, I mean, if we get so many good corners for some reason, he provides great depth, obviously, but is a counted-on starter if needed to be. Cornerback is still a need for the Cowboys. I want to make that clear. But Durant is a starter. It's more about when he's going to use him, maybe third downs and zones, third and longs. Maybe he's going to use him more in zone defense. He's going to probably play him. He's going to play him in a nickel-type defense or just strictly outside all the time. He's played both positions, but he's played outside more recently and more often. Actually last year. So again, it also gives the Cowboys an ability, Christian Parker's defense, to hold a light. We always go big nickel, which means 3 safeties, 2 corners. But light nickel, you go with 3 corners and 2 safeties, which means you can move Bland to the slot. The expectation in Dallas is that he's going to, the Cowboys are going to be playing a lot of light nickel. You need more corners and you need outside corners. So again, to me, Durant and Raffle right now would probably be the starters, and Bland shifts back to the slot defensive spot that he is masterful at, especially coming off the injury. We need him to be, we need Bland to be his best, and the best way to get the best out of Bland is to start him corner, at slot corner, not outside corner, where he'll have more issues, especially with the injury. So slot will be best for him. I think that gives us the ability with Durant and maybe Savon Ravel right now. Right now, we got the draft. We got other options. With those guys here, with Durant here, it moves Bland to slot, which is a big benefit for him. Now, we got to see the Cowboys draft and see how this mixes and matches still. He might drop to backup. That's even better because now we got a fantastic backup. But what's the cost? And that's what I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about some contracts real quick. All right, Kobe Durant, 1 year, $4 million. That's it. That's a guy who's a great backup / good starter. Has starter ability, better than the guys we have. So right there, you got a $5 million max. So you got $1 million in incentives. He also gets $1.5 million in bonus. This year's salary on the cap is $1.7 million is the base, plus $750,000 in active roster bonuses that he can earn. And he can earn another $1 million in play time, which is tied into the Cowboys making the playoffs. So if the Cowboys make the playoffs and he plays whatever the percentage is that he needs to play, he earns another $1 million. He'll max it out to $5 million. So there you go. That's the cost. I think it's a great deal. I have no problem with that cost, by the way.
So no, like I said, I am a fan of the move so
Yeah,
far, and just I hope the Cowboys continue in this type of direction. Uh, and it's just nice to see
yeah,
us, like I said, making sensible
yeah.
moves.
Well, Sam Williams, we talked about him getting signed. He did sign a re-sign with the Cowboys. So we're not gonna go. We're not going to the re-sign. I want to know. We got the numbers though. So tell me
Yeah.
what you guys think about the re-signing of Sam Williams, defensive edge rusher, who I believe will come in for Rashawn Gary, which we'll talk about him in a minute. But Sam Williams, he gets 1 year, $2.5 million to max it out at $3 million.
Hmm.
His bonus is 600,000. He gets that no matter what. His base is 1.4 million guaranteed, plus $500,000 in the active roster bonus segment, which we will assume that there's $500,000 in incentives for playtime and sacks, tied for making the list. So he has to have a number of sacks. He has to have enough playtime, and we got to make the playoffs for him to hit the other $500,000. Good deal for Sam Williams. He'll come in on third down pass rush for Rashawn Gary, in my opinion. Now, Atito Agbonia. This is a guy who basically is replacing the other O on our team, formerly Osa Odigizua. We got Otto Agbonia. He's got a 1 year deal, 2.75 million, $3 million max. Bonus is 500,000, a little less than Sam Williams. 1.5 million base, 750,000 in active roster bonus, and he can earn an extra $250,000 tied to just simply making the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, he gets an extra $250,000. So there's some, one guy we've had re-signed, one guy who's new. What about safety PJ Locke? All right. Well, I want to make a point about PJ Locke for a moment here, if you guys don't mind. I'll put him up in a moment. You'll see him pop up. We've got Calvin Richard dropping that 8 on it right there. $8 holler. Caught me off guard though. The 8. Much love to Mr. Calvin Richard. What did the man say with the Aikman 8?
What's up, Calvin? Much love. He said, "Do you guys have any news on our linebacker situation
I
yet?"
love it. Yes, it's coming. I promise. I promise.
There you go. Thank you so much, Calvin. You skeptical fan
Yes,
of the same mind.
literally like right here, right on the horizon of it, brother.
It's actually our next topic coming
Well,
up here.
yeah. After we go to the contracts, I got it here. I got you, bro. And by the way, with 2, 3, 4, like we need like 15, 16 hits on the goal. So we're there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're a quarter there almost. So anyway, safety PJ Locke. By the way, you see him wearing number 1. Why? He took number 1.
Okay.
He will be wearing. So you guys know he's our third safety. We'll call him our third safety. He's coming there. He's in the rotation. So PJ Locke, we picked him up over Denver. He's going to wear number 1. His contract, 1 year, $4 million, $5 million max. Almost exactly the same as Kobe Durant.
Oh man.
Bonus is $1.5 million. $2 million is his $26 hit. Is it $20 million is his 2026 hit, and $500,000 active bonus. That's where it gets you to what 2.5 there for this year, and $500,000 in playtime incentives tied to just simply making the playoffs. So PJ Locke being a third, I'd say our depth safety there. Sam Howell, our second or third string quarterback, because remember we cut Will Greer, and so it's Milton and him fighting it out. Sam Howell, formerly of the Eagles, unfortunately, he signed a 1 year, $2.5 million contract as a quarterback against or as a backup. $3 million max. Bonus is $500,000, and $2 million is guaranteed this year. He can earn another $500,000 tied to making playoffs, but also playtime. So I mean, someone would have to get hurt for him to get in there. So Sam Howell, I don't know why Locke is there, but Sam Howell, that's his numbers. By the way, we also agreed to terms. I don't have the numbers. We agreed to terms with tight end Princeton Fant, who can play that fullback tight end position, and could be another tight end for us possibly here in this mix. But usually he's on the practice squad. Now, the last guy I'm going to talk about here when it comes to the already signed guys is I would say the one of the bigger name guys here, Rashawn Gary. So what was the deal here? We got him in a trade. And here's the deal, guys. He took a pay cut. Pay cut removed $3.5 million in 2026 on the cap hit. And it took off $6.5 million in 2027 off the cap hit.
Nice.
So actually, the new 2 year average per year is down to 7. It was at 20 something, 24 million, 17 million, 15.5 total and guaranteed. It was added to that, to the 34.6 million guaranteed from the prior contract. So it dropped. The guarantees overdropped. The guarantees. So the guarantees for him, for Rashawn Gary, guys, went from 34.6 million to oh, sorry guys, check, I hit the fucking wrong button there. So Yeah, I was going to say that. So he went from $34.6 million guaranteed money and dropped that down to 15.5 total guaranteed money. So all that has changed now for him. The Cowboys added in 2028, 29, 30, and 31 four more voidable years to the salary cap. So that now really makes him a real cheap signing for the Cowboys. He does get $13.2 million signing bonus when you add that to what 6 years. So you're looking at about about 2 million, about $2 million a year on the salary cap that you got to pay on dead money. Calvin Richard with another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on there. Much love to him, and I counted up. I'll see if we're getting closer and closer to hitting that goal. Shout outs to Mr. Calvin Richard. Sorry, the wife had to step out for just a moment. But Mr. Calvin Richard said this: Dak, if Dak went down, I'd be more comfortable with Sam Howell than I would with Milton. I don't know how to spell his last name. No, yeah, I'm not. Oh, Milton. Yeah, Milton is how you spell his last name. Sam Howell. Yeah, Howell. But yeah, I hear you, and I agree with you. As of right now, well, oh, actually, I don't know. I don't agree with you. I will say, let me see what they do in training camp. I want to know who knows the players, knows the scheme, knows the offense better, and then that's who I'll take. But I think Milton is a more agile quarterback that can get out the pocket and create something. But Sam Howell might be the better pocket quarterback. And he's also mobile too. So I would want to see what they do in training camp. To me, that's a biggie there for training camp when it comes to you know what could who can outdo who here basically when it comes to fighting for the top for the you know backup, third string, et cetera, et cetera. So um, yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Oh shit. And we got another one here, Mr. Mark Osepian in the house. Big man Mark, who is, I think, our current leader, very close with him and Mr. J.D. Burton. Mr. Mark Osepian in the house. Let me see here. He dropped that $2 holler and he said, any NES on any news on possible Pickens trade? No. There is none, Mark. Right now, there is no trade looking like it's going to happen. As of this moment, it sounds like to me the tag is going to stay. We don't know yet about Pickens. That information, I do not have anything extra breaking or new on that. Other than I haven't heard anything new. I haven't heard anything new on Pickens being traded or getting that franchise tag moved over to an extension deal and signed. So we'll see what happens with Pickens. But right now, he's here for this year. We'll see what happens if the Cowboys really do plan on keeping him. If you guys saw some of the shorts that I posted on YouTube, the video shorts, you'll see CeeDee Lamb driving the car, singing, shopping, and then you'll see George Pickens next to him in the car, and they're both singing and having a great time. So it's great to see the team camaraderie there, no receiver jealousy. And if I'm not mistaken, I know MCW knows, but both guys, um, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb were vacationing, I think, in Italy. Or if not, am I wrong about that?
Not in
Not in Italy. Where
Italy,
was it?
in Aruba.
Aruba. I'm sorry, Aruba. There it is.
I want to say it was Aruba or Turks and Caicos,
That's
one of the
Turks and
two.
Caicos, I think is what it was.
One
Either
of
way,
the
they're getting along great. So, but nothing on the trip.
And thank you, Calvin and Mark, since I know I was
Yes, you were.
AWOL for a second
Yes,
there.
Calvin. Appreciate him. Mark Hosepian in the house, the man. Currently, I think in first place. Him and J.D. Burton are battling it out. But he's asked about the Pickens trade. Just went through that. Again, there is no new info on any kind of getting rid of Pickens
Yeah.
as of yet. Now, let me quickly rewind it back to Rashawn Gary here, guys. Listen to this. So we saved a lot of money on him because he basically took a $10 million pay cut. $10 million pay cut is what he took. So again, I just wanted to make sure the money is right here. We understand. We traded him away. I mean, we traded away a fourth round pick for him, but we also got him on a good money deal. That's important when it comes to this. So again, $10 million pay cut. He agreed to this as part of the trade going from Green Bay to Dallas. All right, so it dropped his compensation, like I said, $16 million each of the next 2 years. Dallas also added, like I said to you guys, 4 voidable option years, lowering his cap number to $5.44 million this year and only $8.24 next year. So very cheap for a starting, edge, almost a DeMarcus Lawrence type guy, I
Yeah.
would say. Not anything better than that. I mean, he's not a big sack guy, but he is a guy that is a good run stopper, edge setter, and can get you a couple sacks. So again, great numbers. I think great numbers in this new age of collective bargaining where everybody's getting paid a lot of money. Now, a lot of money, even if you're a backup, you're getting paid $7 million. So, to get him at the hit of 5.44 on the hit this year and 8.24 next year, guarantees run off then. And then we have 4 avoidable years of what? $2 to $3 million in dead cap on him. You don't even see it, guys. You don't even see it. So it's a great deal for the Cowboys, I believe. Now, he had been due $19.5 million this year and $22.5 next year. That's now down to $16 to $17 million, guys. But that was with no guaranteed money. The Cowboys gave him the guaranteed money, so he'd take the $10 million less. The Cowboys did this with Terrence Steele as well. Gave him more guarantees, but took away the overall hit on the Cowboys. So the Cowboys seem to be using this, the front office, as their new system here. Sign the guys, you pay a little more, whatever, but, you get the guys that don't have guaranteed money on contract. You give them more guaranteed money, throw that money at them, and then on the actual hit on the cap, you take much less of a hit, which is the smarter move if you're rich like Jerry and you don't care. And you don't care about cap hits. So, I said let me cap hits, but let me say this. If you're rich like Jerry, you don't care about throwing away money. Like, let's say he guarantees that, what was the guarantee for him there? 15 million, I think, instead of 34 million. If you lose 15 million for Jerry Jones, it's like, $150. It's not a big deal. He'll throw it out, and it doesn't hit it's different to hit the cap the way that it would when he used to do it based on money only. Now he's throwing it down the cap, which is a much better idea. And that is throwing it down the years on the cap, which breaks it down to $2 million more a year. By the time you get to 2030, it's like, you don't even see, we're at $400 million at that point. So either way, guys, most of his 2026 compensation money is now guaranteed, which was not the case last year, and that's why he was afraid he would get cut by the Packers. He would lose all of that. So this is why he agreed to this as well. So good job for both sides, I would say, and fair for both sides when it comes to Rashawn Gary. Now, I will say one thing. When it comes to Gary, how does this change the Cowboys' mindset? Kind of similar to the cornerback question I had, but did the Cowboys raise the ceiling on Gary over Jadeveon Clowney? Because the Cowboys were talking about getting Clowney. Or is Escaraku a better version after missing this offseason due to surgery than he was as a rookie? Now, he's not going to get that offseason work, but that's what I'm trying to say. I think the Cowboys are going to try to use Rashawn Gary as a replacement to Jadeveon Clowney. Although Clowney was our sack leader last year, and he was fresh off the couch, so to speak. He was not playing many games, so he was fresh. Give Clowney a full offseason with the Cowboys. See if those numbers get better. I would say we should try to bring in Clowney. We have not brought in Clowney yet. But if you were to take this defense and kind of replace guys like Malik Hooker with Caleb Downs in the draft, or Dylan Theinman, or Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Jalen Kilgore, Bud Clark, some options there for the Cowboys. And we'll get into the draft and linebackers in a minute here. But again, when you look at this, guys, the Cowboys, I think, with all these new players, Christian Parker as the defensive coordinator, I think the Cowboys have gone from the 32nd worst defense to like a top 20 defense. You guys feel me? We're not done. We're just top 20 now. We're not 32nd anymore is my point with the move. So I think we won't really know toward the season, obviously, but I think there's still a lot of work to do with this defense.
Okay.
We're never going to go from 32nd defense to 5th.
Yeah.
Think about that. But even if we go crazy with money, but it's a good start. The key is let's see if the Cowboys can finish this free agency and then feel good about the draft, going into the draft this offseason. And that's why I say this. The Cowboys will probably be a nickel defense. 3 down linemen. 3 cornerbacks. I'm sorry, 3 linebackers, but I'll explain that in a minute. And 5 defensive backs. Okay. 3 corners and 2 safeties, or 3 safeties and 2 corners. But the nickel part of that is the corners and safeties. When you look at the front linemen, it would really be 3 down linemen. And the 4th down lineman will be coming from one of the 4 outside linebackers.
Okay.
Okay, or I say 3 outside linebackers will come in, and we'll have 2 middle linebackers. So up front, we'll have Rashawn Gary on one side. Let's say Donovan Escorazo on the other side. Quinton Williams and Kenny Clark inside. That's a definite. If it stays the way it is now, those are our starters right now. With I think like someone like Sam Williams coming in on pass rushing downs for Rashawn Gary. Linebackers: Demarion Overshown, Shamar James, Justin Barron. These are the guys that are tasked to stop the run. We're in trouble there. We have no one at the interior linebacker spot. Up front, I said Rashawn Gary is an edge rusher, but you got other guys that also act as outside linebacker edge rushers. At cornerback, Deron Blanche, Siobhan Ravel, Kobe Durant, I mentioned that, and safety Jalen Thompson, Malik Hooker, and JP Locke. But Maurice Liufau was mentioned in one of the press conferences by Christian Parker, saying that Maurice Liufau, who is listed as a linebacker, is actually going to be transitioned to edge rusher. And I want to make sure people understand. You don't think of an edge rusher as DeMarcus Lawrence in this scenario. Think of an edge rusher as a linebacker that blitzes. Does that make it easier? A linebacker that's coming in as your fourth blitzer, as your 3-down lineman, and then Leo Fowl comes in. So I think that's what we're going to see with Leo Fowl based off of what Christian Parker said. So Maurice Liufau is now qualified. He's kind of looked upon as an edge rusher because he's an outside linebacker that blitzes. And he can drop back and play linebacker. It gives Christian Parker's defense some versatility, but he's going to be looked upon. He was called an edge rusher by Christian Parker, and the reason edge rusher, not like an edge rusher like DeMarcus Lawrence or Rashawn Gary, an edge rusher like someone who is going to be coming in as a linebacker. You could even say, like I would say, a safety, like a who he always reminds me of. Oh God, I forgot his name. Falu. What's his fucking name? But anyway, the hair, Palomalu. Okay. He played safety, but he comes in there and almost played like a blitzer or a linebacker. We had, our corners and safety sometimes come in there and play as a Malik, like what was it, Marquise Bell or Donovan Wilson will come in there on the line.
I was going to say Malik Hooker.
No, he don't really blitz too often.
No, that's what I said. I'm like,
but Maurice Liufau, they're using him more for the speed and his linebacker ability to drop back in coverage. So you're going to see him as an edge rusher, blitzing and going in at the quarterback as our 4th down lineman or 5th down lineman, but also see him drop back into coverage. So you're going to catch both of those abilities there possible with Maurice Liufau. Now, to the Cowboys and our linebackers. Here's my thing. Outside linebackers, we are good. We are good with our outside pass rushing guys. And we can use another one. Don't get me wrong. Let me make sure I get that right. I know we got Escorazu, John Gary, a couple others, but the big deal to me is more the linebacker spot. So going into the draft, the linebacker room is definitely not done, in my opinion. That's where I think I start to key on linebacker. But you go through the draft, and if you go for an outside pass rusher, outside linebacker, edge rusher type, yeah, I would say the draft will be an efficient way to go. But we're talking about middle linebacker with the green dot. You need a tackling machine. And I don't know if I don't think Overshown, Shamar James, and Justin Barron are necessarily going to be relied upon that right now at this moment. So it's just too open right now. Too many openings, too many issues. You got injury issues as well possible. So again, when you look at the draft possibility, yeah, the Cowboys might draft an outside linebacker / edge rusher, but we need the interior linebacker is key, and we need somebody who's experienced. We need somebody who knows how to call plays in the NFL. Who's going to wear that green dot day one. And the Cowboys have picked a couple of guys. And the reason I say this is the Cowboys did show interest in green dot middle linebackers like Quay Walker and then Kobe Dean from the Eagles, Quay Walker from the Packers. And the Cowboys also were interested in and talking about trying to make a move for Patrick Queen from the Steelers. Update on that, though. A couple of days ago, Cowboys are out. They're not going to go for Patrick Queen from the Steelers. So you guys that were asking about it, no Patrick Queen. He's scratch him off the list. He's not an option for the Cowboys. But there are 2 guys that are big options for the Cowboys, and that's what we're going to talk about. So in my opinion, and I would like to know your opinion, but I do not want to go for a necessarily first round linebacker that's going to be expected to wear the green dot. That I think is a little too much. I think a second round, third round linebacker, but a green dot guy,
I agree that
I need the experience.
In the green dot, I was going to say, has to have a little bit of hair on his chest from a football. So
yeah, I mean, we got that. Thinking of that, but yes, that's. I do agree. I think the it's much more important to have a guy who is a veteran. Now we've had Eric Kendricks, a veteran, didn't do too great there, and we had Kenneth Murray, a veteran, didn't do too great. So we'll see which veteran the Cowboys decide to move in. But there's two names on the list, and one of them I really like because I've been talking about him for a couple of years. The other guy is the better player, but it's going to cost us more. I'll explain. The two guys the Cowboys are definitely interested in, guys, Cowboys turn their attention to Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair and Dolphins linebacker Jordan Brooks. These are the names that the Cowboys are discussing. Those are the two players at linebacker. So let's quickly go through this, guys. All right? It's going to be. It sounds for the Cowboys if it's going to be a trade for. It's not a free agent now. This is a trade. If these guys are with their current teams. So if we look at both these guys, Jordan Brooks, who the Cowboys are interested in from the Dolphins, and Al-Shaair, who the Cowboys are also interested from the Texans. Jordan Brooks would be the better guy of the two. Let's say as a middle linebacker. Let's just start with that. The Cowboys would have to trade probably. It's kind of comes out to like whatever we got for Osa, our third rounder.
Yeah,
we probably trade a third rounder for Brooks.
Okay.
Some people saying even a second rounder for Brooks. Yeah, late second rounder. So whether it's the third rounder we got for Osa or a late second rounder, Cowboys would essentially be trading away the Osa player for an All-Pro linebacker who will cost this year only $7 million.
Okay.
So a $7 million linebacker for a third rounder. You're not going to get a third-round linebacker in the draft with the red dot ability that can do what he does.
Green dot, but
right.
Yes.
That's what I say, red dot?
Red dot.
Yeah, green dot, yeah. So, again, he's going to be $7 million for this next year, 2026. The Cowboys would then have to decide to extend him or not, which would cost a lot.
Okay.
But it's something that if you don't get hurt, something you don't really hesitate with. More details about Jordan Brooks. He did sign a 3-year deal worth $26 million. Not that much, right? Back in 2024. That's pretty inexpensive for him. That's what, $9 million? Not even, not $9 million, $7 million, right? So $8 million a year, $8.5. About $8.5.
What was
26 million, 3 years. So about $8.5 million a year is what he's getting hit with. It was a little less than $8.5 million.
You said it. I thought I heard 28. That's why I was trying to do.
Yeah, I got you. So he signed with the Dolphins in 2024, and only for a 3-year, $26 million deal. So again, not much for a guy who's an all-pro linebacker, right? Who became an all-pro
linebacker. They kind of got him for a steal.
Yeah. So if Miami does decide to trade Jordan Brooks before the draft, which is pre-June 1st, they would save $2 million on their 2026 cap, and they would have to eat $8 million in dead cap money. But it is a contract year. So, again, remember what happens to contract years? If you play out your contract, you get a compensatory pick. So Miami knows that it makes sense to try to get the Cowboys' 92nd pick, which would be a higher third-round pick from the Cowboys now than potentially next year's second-round pick, as opposed to letting them walk in free agency and recouping a third-round comp pick 2 years. So again, the Cowboys would have to give up probably next year's second-round pick and this year's third-round pick to get Jordan Brooks for $7 million this year. That seems like too much to give up.
Yeah, because then obviously after that, then he's looking for a new contract, right?
Correct. Yeah, a 1-year deal.
That much for a 1-year rental?
1-year rental for a third year.
Then I take back what I said, because he was the one I liked more just from
third round pick this year, a second round pick next year would guarantee you getting him. Let's say, but
rich for my blood.
The Dolphins would rather get that than just a third round pick 2 years from now, which is what we get with the compensation pick there. So
I get that.
It just comes down to one team offers salary and stockpiling picks. I'm sorry, they're offloading salary and stockpiling picks.
Yeah.
The other is desperate for a difference-making green dot linebacker. That's what it comes down to.
That we are desperate for.
He is an obvious fit for the Cowboys, Jordan Brooks from the Dolphins. But the guy I had called about for a couple years ago, at least last year for sure, but I think 2 years I've been talking about this guy, Azeez Al-Shaair. All right, this guy to me is the problem with him is he's a dirty player. He hits, and he loses a game or two for suspension. So he's a guy who signed a 3-year, $34 million deal
Okay.
in that same 2024 season. So a little more expensive. But he just got his first Pro Bowl campaign in 2025.
Okay.
All right, so he's just a new Pro Bowler instead of uh, Brooks, who's more of a full-time Pro Bowler, let's say. But he's also entering a contract year. The Texans are again. He played with the Texans. They had a good defense. They were a great defensive team last year, and they had a roster that defensively that can go for it, so to speak,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean Texas.
With the Texans, yeah. But they already said they're not going. They already announced they're not going to extend Al Shazier.
Okay.
They're not going to extend him. Al Shair. I'm sorry. They're not going to extend Al Shair after this year.
Interesting strategy to announce that now.
And they also said with a few other contracts, they're also not going to renew in 2027. So now that we know he's basically dead weight for them for one more year, right? He would likely only cost the Cowboys this year's 4th-round pick. That's number 112 overall.
And
which
this
is
a little bit different than what you said earlier
Yep.
from Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks is a 3rd and a 2nd, and this is just a 4th-rounder,
Yeah.
which is a lot cheaper than Brooks' compensation. But, the Dolphins are more likely to trade him away because of their roster makeup. The Texans, even though they're not going to offer him an extension, they'd rather keep him to that all-in kind of defense they got going there. But let's just say Houston does trade Al Shair before the draft, pre-June 1st. They would also save $2 million in 2026 cap space, but instead of $8 million like the Dolphins would have to eat, they would have to eat $12 million in dead money. So just so you guys know, the team trading a player away usually has to eat the dead money because all the remaining unamortized signing bonuses, so it's like prorated money from previous year and other stuff like that, immediately accelerates and counts against the team's salary cap. That's why you see the eating the dead cap money. Happens immediately. Has to happen once you trade them. It's a sunken cost kind of situation.
Okay.
But the new team takes on the future base salary payments and roster bonuses. So, like for example, Rashawn Gary is like $1.75 million base, and he's like $2.5 million in roster bonuses. So if we were to trade him, they would have to pay that money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they would be responsible for. We'd be responsible for all the rest of the dead money and guarantees and all that shit, the incentives and prorated money stuff. So again, which linebacker do you guys prefer, baby? And Drums 3269 in the house. Welcome in, Drums. Drumming it up. We talked about the linebackers. Everybody wanted to talk about linebackers. This is the real deal truth here. What's going on? And appreciate Mr. Drums' first ever super chat. What did the man say?
Thank you. He said it. First super chat ever. I appreciate the hustle. We're using our 2 first-round picks on defense. There's nothing wrong with, going with one linebacker because we have a promising D-line. So again, I think it's okay and highly encouraged to use one of those picks on linebacker as long as we do find that veteran green dot player, even if it's not Shazier or Al Shazier, even if it's not Brooks, it's got to be someone that does have some kind of previous NFL experience, because I do think it's a little bit too much to expect even a first round linebacker pick to handle integrating into the NFL and the green dot
play calling portion of things.
Yeah. See, that feels like a lot for the.
And listen, I'm not done about the linebacker stuff because it actually leads me to the next point. But I want
Drums appreciate.
I want to definitely. I want to know what other people also think about both these linebackers. Mm-hmm. But if you think and that's actually the last part of this kind of leads me to the draft portion, which is the final portion of tonight's show. And I think we're not far from hitting our goal if I added it all up here. But I'm going to say this, that the linebacker drafting board, let's put it that way, Drums. Mm-hmm. I actually have that too, because I was looking like, well, why don't we just draft somebody? And I am down with drafting 2 guys in the first round: Avril Reese from Ohio State or Sonny Styles from Ohio State. But they're looked to go as early as second to third pick overall, or 5th to 6th pick overall. So after that, it drops down to 30th pick and beyond. You got guys like C.J. Allen, Anthony Hill Jr., Jake Galladay, Jacob Rodriguez. Not a bad pick there, by the way, I think. But still, you couldn't wait now. And you're not getting – I don't mind getting a linebacker, but in early rounds, I think first round, only Avril Reese and and Sonny Styles, the only guys I would draft, and I would definitely draft them right off the bat in the first round if they came down to pick 12. But CJ Allen, he's the next guy up, right? And after him, it goes to 46, 47, 50th picks. So we got a second overall pick, a fifth, the sixth overall pick, and then a 30th overall pick, and then a 47th overall pick, more or less by the consensus. So Reese and Styles, I'm all in. And then you go to Georgia's CJ Allen. And that's a guy I kind of have an issue with a little bit. He did not test well at, um, he did not test at all at the combine. Let me put that. Um, but he needs to do a pro day, I think. And the bigger issue with him is he's somebody who can also cover in the NFL. As a linebacker, you have to not just stop the run or blitz, you got to cover as well. So can he cover? Is he going to be more of a playmaker at the next level? He only has one career interception. Not very good. That's not a lot of coverage going on. 13 and a half tackles for losses. And that's all those numbers I just said there. One interception, 13 and a half tackle for losses. That's in 3 seasons. So that's my issue. Waiting to the second round for CJ Allen. You don't want to get CJ Allen at 20th. That's for sure. I don't want to get CJ Allen at 20th, even as a linebacker. So to me, a pure linebacker inside, I would kind of focus. I would say that if those two guys don't come up, then I would kind of bounce to a later round linebacker and look for like an edge or I would not put it past the Cowboys to get an offensive lineman, but you got the linebacker thing is an issue here. So in the sense of drafting, that's why when you add in, like you were saying, baby, you add in the red dot situation. I mean the green dot situation, red dot, the green dot situation, which means he's the play caller talking to the coach on the sideline. That means that when he's talking to Christian Parker has to be able to have full confidence in that the guy wearing that green dot hears and knows where to put every single defensive player and what's going on in that play. Yeah. So a rookie coming out of college into the NFL could be too much for any of these guys, even the top second pick or fifth pick overall. But I think you can still pick a linebacker. But I think we need to get one of these two bigger, kind of a veteran, knowledgeable guy when it comes to NFL style middle linebacker calling. And that's why I say Jordan Brooks, you got to give up more. Or someone like a 4th round pick, you can go for a Jacob Rodriguez in the 4th. And that'd be actually a 2nd round pick, Jacob Rodriguez. You go a 4th round guy like Aiden Fisher, Deontay Lawson, 3rd rounder, kind of numbers there. Or you can trade away that 3rd rounder or a 4th rounder and get Aziz Al-Zaire. To me, that's the better pickup to get Aziz Al-Zaire, give it 4th round pick away for him. You can still get a linebacker, in my opinion, when you break it down like that. But I don't know. What is the chat saying, baby? We're down to the last segment here, guys, to the portion of the draft.
No, Seabass said I'm practicing splash moves. But I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, I don't see any splash moves coming from the Cowboys, right?
So, no, but, never say never. Jerry, the closer he gets to shuffling off this mortal coil, you never can predict what he might decide to do at the last minute. Just throwing that out there. But outside of that, Football Fanatic also said that, I'll give a 4. Like, going back to the linebacker situation before, like,
so the 4th for Aziz Al-Zaire, you would do that. Yeah. Aziz Al-Zaire, yes, and I would do that just for. It's kind of like I want to say Kendricks, because I think he's better than Kendricks, and I think he's better than Sean Murray, what's his name, Kenneth Murray. Yeah. But I do think that Aziz Al-Zaire showed a lot last year, had a Pro Bowl year, and if we can get him for a 4th rounder. He might be. I'm trying to think something. Maybe $9 million, but it's worth it. Or you give up more picks, 3rd rounder this year and a 2nd rounder next year, and get Jordan Brooks, who's a perennial Pro Bowler. So, and a definite, a big time green dot guy. Like he's a green dot master. He knows his shit. Seabass said, Jordan Brooks, Al-Shazir. That's what I had said. And that's what I said. The 3rd round pick would be for. If you want Jordan Brooks, you have to give up a 3rd round this year and a 2nd round next year. Would you do that? But for a 4th round, you could probably get Al-Shazir. Maybe. I'm thinking. But the big thing is the Dolphins would rather break with Jordan Brooks because maybe they'll match up their future. Well, Al-Shazir matches it up for this year. Both guys are in the last year of their contract. So this would be a 1-year deal. unless they're going to tag them or extend them after this. So it's a lot of things going on. Football Fanatic said, hell, I'll take Kendricks. And so to see that, I'll take Kendricks too. I just don't want Overshown or yeah, I just don't want. I just don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I think that Shamar and Overshown could be good as secondary interior linebackers and doing all these things that Christian Parker's want, but they cannot be the green dot guys yet. I don't see that. Shamir James may be that in a year or two, but Overshown's more of a fly around kind of guy. He's not going to be the guy you want to keep him there. Middle linebacker. You don't want Overshown there. You just don't want. You want him all around the place doing shit and wrecking havoc. So that's why I don't really understand. I'm trying to figure out which is the main, the stable middle linebacker we need. We need to get one, in my opinion. And if we only go back to a drum saying that we needed one linebacker, which is it could be Overshown on a passing down, definitely 100%. But on a running down, you're going to get run up the butt inside, and that's the bigger issue to me. Is the running game interiorly speaking. Yeah, we have Quentin Williams. Yeah, we have Frank Clark, but they will hold double teams for linebackers to fill in those holes. And if these linebackers are not tip top and not reading the play right or putting players in the right position, they're going to gash us up the middle through our middle linebackers. And I love Overshown. I think that Shamar James can be a good, solid middle linebacker in the future, but not now. And I know if Overshown can do, but not necessarily only at middle linebacker. So Vince Leofau moves from linebacker to the edge rusher outside. They call it edge rusher. I call it outside linebacker in a 3-4. And then you're keeping Overshown in the middle of the field there at linebacker position. That's the way the Cowboys are showing themselves to be. So there you go. I hope I answered all the questions there that have been asked.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And thank you again, Char.
Charbad in the house. Hell yeah.
I'm tired of giving up the cheeks in the running game.
And that's the thing, Football Fanatic. You get Kendricks, you're going to get up the cheeks. And you get Murray, you got to get one of these solid players. Now, I will say, I did have a quick little mini list of guys that I could kind of point out and say, hey.
Yeah, well, Seabass said, we need the real leader of the defense that's fucking Mike linebacker. Goddamn Jones family. Couldn't offer a couple million more for Quay or Devin.
Yeah, exactly. And the Kobe Dean, I think he got like $8 million a year. I mean, shit, that ain't that much. But
shoulda, woulda, coulda, but we want extra cheap.
There's a couple other guys out there. I'm gonna say these names, but these are not guys the Cowboys are looking at. I want to make sure people understand. I don't like to give out false. A lot of people do these names and say, who could it be? The Cowboys ain't getting none of these guys. But I've always said there's a couple of guys still in free agency you don't have to trade for. Bobby Wagner, I've said his name 5 fucking years ago in Dallas. And when we had Quinn and everyone was like, whatever. But Bobby Wagner is still a Pro Bowler. Old, but a Pro Bowler from the Commanders. He's a free agent. Cowboys are not looking at these guys. New York Giants middle linebacker, Bobby Okereke. And he could be a green dot guy inside. I like Levante David from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not sure if he's green dot, but Devin White also from the Raiders. Both these guys are similar. I remember from Tampa Bay, but Devin White went to the Raiders last year. Jermaine Pratt. Christian Rosenblum, Shaq Thompson, and you got guys like Kendricks, Sanborn, Kenneth Murray, Matt Milano, Azim Davis Gaithier, and on and on. Logan Wilson retired, Jamal Adams, Ronnie Harrison, Demetrius. Anyways, you keep going, and then they get worse and worse and worse. Troy Reader, I guess you can, nobody's going to be able to sit in there and just come in and say, yeah, let's get him the green dot. We're good. You know what I'm saying? So you really have a few. Bobby Wagner would be great. Free agent, give him $7 million, $8 million a year. Take Bobby Wagner this fucking part, right?
I know, but I said in the chat that I still don't even see that happen.
But here's the thing. Now let me ask one last question before we move on to the drafts ending here. And get your last drops and your last donations, guys, because we're closing up soon. But I do want to say this. Now do you give up? Let's say we take away that second rounder next year and the third rounder this year for Jordan Brooks, too expensive in draft capital.
Yeah.
And we don't want to give up a fourth rounder for Al Shair. So what about if we paid, instead of paying Al Shair $8 million, let's pay that to Bobby Wagner and not give up any draft picks? Bobby Wagner is the consummate professional. He is a baller. He's a Pro Bowler still, even though he's 45 years old.
Hey, you don't convince me.
Listen, I'm just saying, a Pro Bowler in the middle of your defensive line, in the middle of your linebacking core, the middle linebacker. I don't know. He's like 38 or 40. I don't know. He's old. But the point is that he's still a Pro Bowler. Still a Pro Bowler, makes the tackles. He's a tackling machine. That's what we need in the middle. And maybe not all 3 downs. First down, you'd love to see him in there. Third and 13, take him out, put in Overshown. You know what I'm saying? Like Overshown's your only linebacker you need in that scenario. But you want to see the big guy in the middle there. And Bobby Wagner knows how to take calls, understand the formations, understand schemes, and knows how to call out, where one needs to be. He would be the one I trust if I was to trust any of those three guys. Not just because he's, older, I don't like that. There's a couple of things, but these guys are 1-year guys. So we talk about 1-year guys. We're about 1 year Bobby Wagner, old, but still a Pro Bowler. Or you want to take 1 year, these other two guys that are much more expensive and we got to give up a lot more. I say take Bobby Wagner over Kendricks, over Murray for the last 2 years, and over everybody else I just said. I would take Bobby Wagner. That's my choice. But I don't know. That's just me because you don't have to give up draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And you get yourself a middle linebacker you can take out on third downs. That's just seems, third and 2 you leave him in, but third and 12 you take him out. So
now, Patrick Patrickle. Let's just call you Patrickle there, just because I don't know the rest of that whole thing. It's Patrick Lehua Prentice. Patrick Lehu Apprentice, and then
okay. So Patrick, I got him.
He said, I want to know how you feel about giving Cleveland a 12 and a 92nd and a 5th for a 6th and Denzel Ward. I just said, I feel like that's a little too much for me. He said, well, Dean and Walker were coached by either CP or one of the other coaches on the defensive staff, and they passed. So what the F does that tell you?
Yeah, and I'm looking here. So, and Dean and Walker were coached by either, the Cowboys did try to go for Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. They did try to go for them. That's for sure. But the Cowboys came up a little too short there. I think Nakobe Dean was going to go with the Cowboys. And something happened at the last second, and he switched sides. So they were going to go with him. So I'm not really sure what that tells me in that sense, because they were kind of going for both those guys you mentioned. But when it comes to trading up, that's one of those things where, man, you got to really hit it out the ballpark. So if you're going for the right guy, that's that player you really know he whether he dropped a little bit or he's a little cheaper than you expected. Maybe you make that move, but man, it's also good to have that 12th and 20th pick that should be two initial starters on defense. You know what I mean? So it's hard. You go to the superstar on defense and you get one, or you go with two guys that should be fantastic. But you never know with any of the three guys. The superstar could hurt himself in week one. So you never know. So it's a big thing to do. You put all your eggs in that first round basket, that Cleveland pick, or do you leave the basket where it is, and you try to collaborate yourself with defense with Christian Parker mindset for now. I think you go with the Christian Parker mindset, and you say that you get the 20th and you get the 12th, the 12th and the 20th, and you put it to good use. In my opinion. Well, Bobby Wagner, yeah, I would say Bobby Wagner is a guy. He's a tackling machine. He's at the ball at all times inside. Now, you don't want him running on the outside or covering, but on first down, on 3rd and 2 or on 1st and 10, I have no problem putting Bobby Wagner in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's interesting conversations and thoughts, but the way we do this thing here, guys, is it's about kind of throwing around some ideas, but never. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say, what about this guy, guys? Let's go get him to get views and clicks. I don't care. I go on facts, and Jordan Brooks and Al-Shaair are the two guys the Cowboys are literally looking at right now. As far as drafting, there's a big drop off after the 2nd and 3rd pick of the draft and the 5th and 6th pick of the draft. One of those two guys, Averill Reese and Sonny Styles, Ohio State linebackers, they're going to be gone. So it comes down to you're going to draft a guy, like C.J. Allen, who has many issues in coverage. It seems like. You don't want to have that kind of weakness when you're drafting that high. If you draft in the first round, C.J. Allen is a guy you draft in the late 2nd round, maybe. It depends on what you're going to use him for. So a lot of things there. Now, as far as the draft, what are the Cowboys going to do? Well, I don't know, but I can tell you who some of the guys are bringing in for their visits. The Cowboys have a thing called Dallas Day, which anybody in a certain radius of the Cowboys facility is automatically entered into basically a 2-day interview.
Yeah.
And every team gets that in their vicinity. It's like Dallas Day, they have Denver Day, they have Indianapolis Day. So the Cowboys are
that local kids get a chance first.
Local hometown kids can get the first shot at the Cowboys. Cowboys get the first shot at them. So the Texas Longhorn cornerback, and it's important I say cornerback because cornerback is something we talked about earlier. Malik Muhammad. He's a guy that has been getting a lot of notice. a lot of recognition recently, and a lot of upcoming meetings with teams. Upcoming 2-day visit with the Dallas Cowboys is on the way, by the way, plus other teams as well. But he's coming to the Cowboys guys for 2 days. It sounds like for that Dallas Day deal situation. So Cowboys, the Dallas Day candidate. He's going to be one of the guys the Cowboys get extra looks at for 2 full days. Malik Muhammad. Keep your ears and eyes open for him. He's somebody the Cowboys are checking out in the 30 day in the Dallas Day thing. Now, what about the 30 visits? We have 30 guys Cowboys get to interview in detail. Usually, the Cowboys do draft from here. So here's a guy. I'm going to go in order. There's 4 guys that I know right now off the top. I know there are receivers somewhere, but I don't know if the Cowboys are going to go receiver early. So when you look at early, the Cowboys did or is going to host LSU defensive back Mansour Delane. Or Delaney. Is it Delaney or Delane? For a 30 visit. He is basically one of the premier cornerbacks. And he's a potential option at 12. So think of that there. Mansour Delane, he will be a guy the Cowboys may look at as a defensive back from LSU. He's really, if you look at the two options that's going to be available at the 12th spot, he's really the only legitimate option that's an automatic starter. And the reality is, Delane is probably not going to make it to the 12th spot. So that's when you start.
He's going to fall before that.
He's going to be drafted before the 12th spot. So
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing, if he falls to us, do we take him? But if he doesn't fall to us, do you trade back? That's another possibility there, guys. Right? The only guys that are really worth taking at 12 that are on defense. Remember, not just any guy, the best linebacker. No, that's going to be CJ. We don't want him. But the guys that are worth being taken at 12 would be, of course, Caleb Downs. Actually, let me put that up here because I'm feeling you guys with my great pictures here.
Beautiful imagery.
Will McClure making these decisions, helping the Joneses make these decisions, but those are the possibilities there in the first round pick there, and it's 2 of those guys possibly. So Cowboys are going to host Mansour Delane, and he's the real true option at 12, realistically speaking, and that's a 50-50 chance he gets that far. But Caleb Downs there on the bottom right, kneeling down. That would be the guy we'd love to get. He'll be gone by then, probably. You got Styles. You got Bain, and you got Delane. If none of these guys are there, you trade back. That's the one option that I want to leave open because I do like if you don't have that guy, if you don't have that guy in that spot at 12, you trade back. We did that last time around 11th. Didn't we do that last time around the 11th spot? Traded back to the 12th spot, and we got Micah Parsons. So I'm just saying, like, there's still an option there if Downs, Styles, Delane, and Bain are gone. Realistically speaking, and again, we're talking about defense. Now, you can go offensive lineman, but you can also trade back and add a second rounder. I think I'd rather do a second rounder and go back a little bit. Now, USC safety, Kamari Ramsey, also has a top 30 visit scheduled with the Dallas Cowboys. He's somebody you watch more in the 3rd round. So you're looking at a safety-type player here. Another safety, interesting. The Cowboys are looking at who's probably a 3rd round pick at the 92nd spot, Kamari Ramsey from USC. Cowboys also are taking a look at TCU, Texas Christian University's Talib Erlems-Orr. He had 154 tackles in 2025 and finished 2nd among all linebackers in the 40-yard dash. So again, very fast. He had a 4.47 in the 40. And the vertical jump, he had a 40-inch jump. So again, 40-inch vertical. My point here is, I'm a linebacker. You want to pick a linebacker, you want to give him a year or 2 to work on, you want to go with someone like this. He has a ton of interest coming on. Recent visit with the Bills he has one coming up with the Cowboys. So again, a linebacker for Texas Christian University, TCU's linebacker Caleb Elam's-Orr. A lot of tackling machine. He's fast and can jump. Sounds like a perfect fit if you wait to the 3rd round for a linebacker. Not to start necessarily, but someone who maybe even be a little bit right there with Shamar James. You know what I'm saying? And right behind Overshown. So again, that could be a guy you keep an ear and watch for. Keep an ear out and watch for him. Caleb Elam's-Orr from TCU. And the last guy I have here, Cowboys are hosting Louisville. Defensive lineman Rene Conga on a pre-draft 30 visit. He's more of a potential late round pick. Um, you know, probably more like you can see him almost like a practice squad free agent kind of guy for the Cowboys. They'll pick up some if Rene Conga goes through. Again, defensive lineman sounds like he's an interior guy. If the Cowboys if he goes through, gets into the 6th, 7th round, the Cowboys may draft him or wait as an undrafted free agent, rookie free agent. That could be also another option for Rene Conga, but would be a late round pick or an undrafted guy. So that pretty much wraps it up on my side. I'm trying to see here and get the totals for you guys. I think we're close to getting that raffle. Yeah, let me see. So I think we're 30 away, $30 away from hitting the raffle. So yeah, that's not bad. You guys did a great job, I will say, in hitting the numbers. And again, we got JD Burton in the membership, in that star level membership, and we have JD and DC in that navy blue crew back in there. Calvin Ridgely with a couple drops. Skeptical fan with a couple drops as well. Marco Seppian with his $2 holler. The current leader. I'm not sure 100%, but either way, that ends up being around. We're about, I would say, 6 drops away of $5. But I just said 30 would cover the thing. So as we wrap this up, $30 holler would give everybody a chance to get into. Give 4 people a chance to get into this raffle.
Yeah.
So and plus those names would also you get six entries for that.
So yeah, and I think and I kind of get it with Seabass. Like he wants to take. It feels like less chances on some of the guys from the smaller schools or some of the, I don't know, like, what I mean. The boys like to get creative with some of the picks every once in a while. Like,
that makes sense.
Maybe it's the time to stop getting cute in certain ways. So, yeah, Patrick also said, Will McClay's getting on my motherfucking nerves with all this small school shit. I think the new coaching staff will take care of that. So,
I'll say
just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'll say one thing about Will McClay. I've always said he's had to deal with he's had to do his job with his hand behind his back because of the Joneses. The Joneses, they limit him a lot. But I do think McClay has had some. He has to take some responsibility of some of the issues he's made, and whether he's right or wrong. I mean, whether he could have helped it or not. Whether it was a coach's choice, like Marinelli wanted this kind of guy. We got Tristan Hill because Marinelli wanted a specific type of guy. We got Taco Charlton because he wanted a specific type of guy. And when McClay was asking for TJ Watt. So, there's good and bad, right? McClay is doing a lot. The most he can do with his hands tied behind his back, but he needs to do better. So I agree with you guys. You need to do better. And, he's the one that went for Mozzie Smith instead of going for Bergeron, which was what everybody else was picking. So that's on him. And you got to blame the people that blame. So Will McClay better wake up a little bit this time around.
Hey, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, he's making mistakes that could cost him. So
we can't afford any more now because while we do have some money in the bank, we don't have money for mistakes. So let me go ahead and do kind of the final shout outs here. But before I do that, I do want to shout out the people representing on the MCF side of things, like your sponsor of the quarter, JD Burton, who anyway jumped back into that membership.
That star level.
I know it. Thank you, a big mahalo to the man Marco Seppi, and I believe that's 26 points left
26
on the stream boss.
Yes. And he is, I think, in first place on the overall board. It's between him and JD Burton. I would have to double check that. But one of those 2 guys are in first place. And remember, this could be the last stream of the month, which would mean of the quarter. So it could be some final winners here. The Skeptical fan, not only is he the Cash App king for the quarter, but he's currently in the lead for the quarter in the Cash App. So shout outs to him. We got a couple other people in there, but he's the front runner. Shout outs to Skeptical. And gifting members. Nobody gifted this month or this quarter. So no gifting memberships, but we do have the champion, NDN Boogie, as our gifting champion. So shout outs to him as well. And we'll be back for sure before the draft, guys. Don't worry. The draft is at the end of April. But we'll try to squeeze one in here, maybe, on the 31st or something before the end of the month. So give everybody one last chance to get some, catch up on the news. And of course, get one last chance to see who wants to take over that top spot of things. You know what I mean?
You can never count out the Cowboys surprising us all and giving us a reason to go live sooner than
I would love the Cowboys to do something interesting for once.
At least that's the eternal joke.
That'd be nice.
Oh,
Man,
thank
much
you, Drums.
love.
Thank you so much with the 5. Dollar.
Yeah,
Dollar.
and I say that, skeptical fan, JD Burton, JD and DC, Calvin Richard, Marco Seppian, and yes, I almost forgot drums. And I should say all those numbers there, but
So
I don't see them on my side. But drums, much love to you with the 5 on it. What do you have to say?
he said Christian Parker runs a 3-4. We
Correct.
need linebackers to do that. And I'm telling you, we're going linebacker hunting.
I hear you, and that's part of the thing here. We can get other linebackers. Outside linebackers are more like pass rushers, so we got a stack of those guys that don't fall in the 3-4 because the 3-4 you need like a 5 tech, you need like a 0 to 1 tech, 3 tech, 5 tech kind of deal. So you can see Gary, you can see getting in there as our fourth rusher. You can see but I would see Kenny Clark and Quentin. They're the guys inside. And I was going to say, well, Osa would be the third guy, but it sounds like it would be like a Rashawn Gary maybe would be that third guy in there. Um, there's other options the Cowboys can do, but it's really about what you do with your outside linebackers. And I hear Maurice Leofau is going to be our outside linebacker / edge rusher. So that means the Cowboys are going with a quicker outside linebacking core. And so to me, it's an outside linebacking core would be an edge rusher.
Yeah.
So if they get an edge rusher, it could be a linebacker, but he's going to play edge rusher basically in the spot of a linebacker. While when they say an interior linebacker is what I'm looking for, an inside linebacker. So yeah, Christian Parker loves linebackers, but he needs that play caller in the middle. So I think we're going to. I would not put it past the Cowboys to number one get someone like Al Shair for a 4th-round pick, let's say, from the Texans. If we were able to get him, that'd be a great deal for the Cowboys. We got a solidified starter for this first year. You grab yourself another high upside middle linebacker or linebacker type for Christian Parker to train up to take over for that spot next year. And you could probably do that in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. You cannot do it in the first unless it's Sonny Styles, or Sands. So unless it's or Caleb Downs.
Mhm.
If it's those guys, you go for them, defensively speaking. But if not those guys, you're not going to have. It's not going to be a reason to go after these guys, really, because it's just you're over. Anybody you pick is going to be picked, can be picked in the 2nd round. So yeah, you don't want to overdo that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna add more there, my love.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
But with that said, guys, again, thank you so much for chilling, hanging here with us, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say 20. Actually, if I do my math correctly, that would be. Let me just make sure I do the math correctly here, baby. Give me a second here.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure I give everybody a fair chance. So yeah, it looks like it would be. It looks like it would be. They're 25 away. That's it. 25. So 5 drops away, basically. But as we do the outro, you guys can still hit it. So there's always a chance. And we still answer your questions if you do drop them in there beforehand. But I do appreciate everybody. Drums, I will update you on the board as well as everybody up here. Skeptical Drums, JD Burton, JD from DC, Calvin Richard, Marco Seppian. Everybody will be updated. But I think Mark is still in first place. And he still has 21 points on that stream boss. Shout outs to him there. Again, like you said, JD Burton, sponsor of the quarter. But Marco Seppian or JD Burton are fighting for that top spot currently as we speak. And Skeptical fan taking it down when it comes to the Cash App side. Indian Boogie representing he's boogieing to the top there on the gifting side of things. But he is but there is no leader so far this month on the gifting membership side. Anyways, any last comments or thoughts, baby, before we rock out?
No, I just appreciate and love the love in the chat. So love to see so many real Cowboy fans out there, representing worldwide on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys are recognizing each other out there, like I think that just speaks to, how strongly our voices can carry across this crazy little internet of ours.
Cowboy, I mean, Cowboy fans, they speak and they speak loudly. So I'm glad you guys, speak loudly and get your voices heard, and that's what it's about. And I know that we've been doing this for 9 seasons, right? 9 seasons we've done this. It's going to be 9 full years. We're going to enter our 10th year in like 3 months. So we're going to try to hit that 10-year mark at the very least, guys. But we've gone through the I'd say ups and downs. But it's been like not so up, some ups, but not as up as we want, and some downs with this channel. With the way the Cowboys have played. But either way, no matter what, guys, the real fans come true here and stick around for when it's the toughest. And it's pretty tough for the Cowboys right now with a real bad season. But the real fans stay around, stick around, and rep that star over everything. So on that note, I think we did all the shout outs already. Maybe.
Yeah, let me
Did
actually,
we?
no, I
All right. Do the shout outs. Go for it. Do the shout
but
outs.
yeah, Sea Bass, and then yes, it really has been that long, if you can believe it. What's up, Patrick? Much love. We have drums, of course. Hard Knocks representing. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Rolling back, I know we had Football Fanatic in the house. Char Batty, much love. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical.
Always.
Plastic Aguilera 4, Motor City Maniac stopping by, Kenzie Bands,
Motor.
earlier on the MCF side of things. Mike Aldana, thanks for coming through. Jetly 44, much love. Manuel Trillo, hello and hi. Rolling back, just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Calvin Richard, of course. Ricardo Lewis, JD from DC.
Yeah.
I want to say, let me see, JD Burton, Intelligent Savage, Azteca, Daniel Barry. Yeah, I think that's everybody here. So, guys,
and I know that it says 5 out of 20, but we hit 10 out of 20. You guys did awesome on the goal side of things, and it was under the 2-hour goal spot. We went an hour and a half, so it's about an hour and a half. We went a little over when it comes to the goal side of things because we want to go over than under, but when it comes to giving you guys a chance to hit that goal, but. It's all right, guys. A lot of you guys are going to get a chance to win one of those Sewn and Stitch jerseys, so we'll see what happens.
Shit, Seabass, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, brother. Damn. Yes.
Oh, okay, I got you. Sorry, I thought it was your
birthday. You've been watching us for a long ass time. That's awesome, bro. It's great to see the people here repping it with us through the good, bad, and ugly. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to ask you, baby. Why do we do this? We're basically 9 seasons, entering our 10th season. Here online on YouTube. Why do we do this thing here as Cowboy fans? Crazy ass Cowboy fans. Why do we do this pretty much for this length of time on YouTube?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly on this channel. We always rep that star over everything. And on My Cowboys Family right here, for the last almost 9 years, definitely 9 seasons, entering our 10th season and our 10th year on basically, what is it, July 1st?
Yeah, July 1st.
Right in the middle of the year. So, right here on YouTube, guys, My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and 26. What do you guys say? Let's get that 6 and 2026. Take care, Seabass, Azteca, everybody else, Patrick. And everybody else in the house who dropped in here, drums, beating them drums, Hard Knocks. Thank you all. Marco Seppian, Skeptical Fan, JD Burton, JD from DC, Calvin Richard, the wife doing her thing here. Go Cowboys, you know it, Azteca. Thank you all. Peace and love, and baby, you know how this thing goes. Everyone's dropping the knowledge in the chat. We appreciate that. They're dropping the love from above, of course. We definitely appreciate that. Keeps this thing going. As often as we do, and hopefully gives us a chance to give back a little bit with the jerseys. So appreciate you guys that do drop the donations and the love. Cannot do this without you all, but so the drops of knowledge and the drops of love, baby. Before we drop out and clock out for the night, and probably have one more stream for the month of March for this quarter. What do we gotta do before we drop out of here for the night?
We gotta drop the beat.
Okay. Oh yeah, the beat's been dropped. It's a wrap here. On My Cowboys Family with MCF and MCW, husband-wife duo. We keep rolling to another one, guys, as we all rep that star over everything. You guys could be anywhere on YouTube. 20 of you guys are here chilling with us. For that news, info, and updates, the real deal when it comes to that news, info, and updates, our shared thoughts. Thank you all for the love and support. Can't do this without you all. And again, we talked about it all again here on MCF. We talked about the upcoming draft, especially that first round with options, linebacker, corner, defense, we know. But there's no question mark. We already got 2 picks there, 12 and 20. We'll see what happens. Free agent updates, PJ Locke, Kobe Durant. We talked about all the other deals. We got a tendered player there in TJ Bass, signed and sealed and delivered. We talked about it all here. And like I said, the upcoming draft, major contracts, free agent linebackers, all that and more right here. My Cowboys Family, guys. You know the deal here at MCF. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing here at My Cowboys Family. You guys that rep that star with us here Don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. Hit that subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell on to all videos. That's how you know we're going live or dropping a video or short of some sort. So thank you again. You can also help out by jumping in the Discord. There's all social media at MyCowboysFamily. That information is all in the description. So guys, take care, stay safe, much love to all, and never, ever forget Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.